What's up, guys? It's Mac, and I'm back finally with another video. It's definitely been a good couple years since I've uploaded to this channel. I have to say, I definitely go in and out of motivation here, but every time I see comments from you guys, even though it's been a very long time, it always makes me want to start uploading here again, and I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna try to do more than just this video, especially because I know a lot of you like the Pokemon content. Pokemon Champions is coming out soon, and I will definitely be recreating the ladder content from Sword and Shield on Pokemon Champions. I'm very excited about that, so definitely stay tuned for some VGC content if you like the gaming stuff. But I also want to get into this stuff, the sports ASMR side, not so much the ASMR side, but I've just been very into sports my whole life, and I love watching people make videos like this, and I finally figured why not do it myself. So every year I fill out two brackets. I fill out a bracket where it's my initial hunch. I watch a lot of college basketball, so it's something that I do take a little bit of pride in. Not that I do super well in these. These are so hard, but I would like to say that I am a little bit of a ball knower. But we will truly find that out when I make part 2 of this and we review how bad or how good my bracket does. I will say, in years past, I only watched college basketball. I'm a Wisconsin sports fan, so all things football, all things basketball, all things baseball. I love the Brewers, and all the college stuff as well. And for the longest time, the Milwaukee Bucks were terrible. So in the NBA, I didn't have much to really watch. I was a fan of other teams like Steve Nash. Well, I mean, like, he's not a team, but you know what I mean. Like, I was a fan of players, not really teams. So Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Devin Harris, players like that. But now, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bucks are very good. So it has taken a little bit of my time away from watching college. However, this year, Giannis has been injured 80% of the season, and the Bucks are terrible. We are not going to make the playoffs. We could, but I really don't think we'll make the playoffs. And if we do, who cares? We suck. So a lot of time watching basketball this year, and Wisconsin is very, very good. So I will say, when we go through this, keep in mind I am very biased towards Wisconsin. Also, please do not take any betting advice from me. I am just an ASMR artist that's making some predictions. But this will be my third bracket. I know I said I made 2. I make my first hunch, and then I make my more calculated one. This will be my third. I've already done the first 2. So we're going to go with a little bit of each. But we'll start in the east and make our way down the left side, and then we'll go to the right and go to the west where Wisconsin is, because the committee hates us and likes for Wisconsin to play as far away from the University of Wisconsin as humanly possible. But we'll get to that later. I will say, I do actually hate that they do that, where they make us play all these games that are not near where we are. Like last year, we had to play against BYU in Utah, even though we were the higher seed. But actually, you can fact check me on that. Maybe we were the 6 and they were the 3, but I think we were the 3 and they were the 6. I don't know. I can't remember either way. But this year, at least they put us in a quadrant where all the other teams are also getting sent to bumfuck nowhere. Like Arkansas, like, it sucks for them. They're a good team too, and they had to go check this really quick. If I click preview, you guys can see that. Okay. Yeah, shout out Stephen A. Smith. But yeah, so we don't have to look at too much here, right? Like, I think there's been one number one seed in the history of the NCAA tournament that has been upset in the first round. And it's not going to be the Boozer brothers and Duke. I can guarantee you that. Very, very good team. I've watched them all year, and they've kind of been my favorites pretty much the entire year. So definitely got Duke there. This game right here is a toss-up. So I think it's kind of down the middle as far as the public goes. A little bit leaning Ohio State. If you look at the spreads, it's like it opened at 4.5 and it's now 2.5, which means the money's going on TCU if it's going down like that. But if you look at one of the things in these close matchups that I like to look at the most are number one, like the last 5 games they played, which Ohio State had a really good end to the season, and which team is going to have the best player on the court. And I think that Bruce Thornton and John Mobley are better than or as good as the best player on TCU, David Punch. So I personally think in this matchup, Ohio State has the edge. But if you look through, it does say a lot of them have the edge here as well. I'm not going to do this with every game, but I just want to show you the stats we can look at. This versus top 25 is a little deceiving for TCU because if you go to their notable results, they played a lot of these games very early on in the season. They lost that one, but and then these they played after like a huge injury on the team. So I don't really weigh those that much. And Ohio State had a giant portion of Big Ten play where they just could not win. They beat us pretty bad that weekend. This is again like down the stretch. They got the win at Purdue. They played at Michigan State really tough. They played at Michigan on this was not this in the Big Ten tournament. They almost beat Michigan, which I have a lot of respect for. So I'm gonna pick Ohio State, and we're gonna move on. For St. John's against Northern Iowa, I think that I historically really like the UNI Panthers. I think they have a lot of program history when it comes to college basketball, but this year I think St. John's might not get enough respect, and I think UNI is much worse than people give them credit for. So I am going to go with St. John's. Pretty straightforward here. I gotta like Zuby and Rick Pitino as well. It's just it'll be real tough here. Now I love this matchup. Kansas versus California Baptist. I personally think the best player on the court in this game is Dominique Daniels. You can see from points per game, obviously versus lesser competition than Darren Peterson is playing against, but Dominique Daniels is a baller, like absolute baller. And you see in a lot of years, in a lot of times past, you'll see that there's one player that can really carry a team. I feel like a lot of times that one player plays against Wisconsin, like Davidson had Steph Curry against Wisconsin. I forget his name, but that the guy that was on Ole Miss, the white guy with the awful haircut that needed to fire his barber, that guy also cooked Wisconsin. I feel like a lot of times those players end up having to go against us, and we lose. But I feel like Dominique Daniels can definitely do that here. And Kansas all season has been incredibly up and down. I'm gonna give this to Cal Baptist. I know this is a crazy upset. This is just something that I have a feel for. Not that obviously not the favorite, but it's just kind of the way that I see it. So I'm sorry, Jayhawks fans. Your guys' program is insane, but I'm sure you can also acknowledge that this season has been incredibly up and down, and the best player on the court arguably could be on the other team. So I don't know. I'm gonna go Cal Baptist here, and we'll see. Louisville, South Florida. So South Florida has a really one of their main guys is injured. I forget who it is, but if he plays, I've got South Florida. If he doesn't play, then I have Louisville. Louisville has not really impressed me too much this season when I've watched them, but they're definitely a solid team. And under the assumption that he doesn't play, I mean, but it's the NCAA tournament, like he's gotta play, right? But if he forces himself to play and he re-injures it, I'm gonna take Louisville just for the sake big year. But I think if he's healthy and if he plays, I think South Florida has a really, really good chance to win. So then Michigan State and North Dakota State. I think this is very straightforward. Tom Izzo gets the job done here. I think that he's going to have his team ready. I think that this Michigan State team is much worse than a lot of the Michigan State teams in the past. Maybe it's just how they played against us, where they didn't look very good. But even when I see them against other teams, I'm like, they do not seem like a normal, like really tough Michigan State team. I don't know what it is. But one second, I'm going to reposition really quick. But yeah, I don't think that they're that good, but I think they're like very clearly head and shoulders above North Dakota State. I think some of the seeding, because I'll talk about it when I get to it, but some of the seeding is a little sus this year. So for UCLA and UCF, another injury that could potentially hold a team. However, I think UCLA is good enough, and they showed it in the Big Ten tournament, where I think they can win without him. And if they win with him, and I think they for sure win with him, but I think they could win without him even as well. So, and then we'll go UConn down here, obviously over Furman. Funny story, my girlfriend makes brackets like these as well, and she knows literally nothing. And just goes off the name, and I'm pretty sure that her national championship is Furman against Gonzaga. So, yeah. So take that for what it's worth. If Furman ends up being in the national championship, come back to this video. You will see me telling you all that I'm a millionaire. So I will be the one person that's got Furman. Or well, I mean not me, but she will be the one person that's got Furman. All right. So as we go down, we can click Florida and move on. So here, the Clemson Iowa game. I'm sorry, Clemson fans, and I know Big Ten bias, so be sure to keep that in mind. But every time I've watched the Clemson Tigers this year, they look horrendous. To be fair, I'm watching them versus the likes of Virginia and like NC State and like Duke. So they're obviously gonna get blown the mess out against Duke and against Virginia. But even in those like middle games, like, can I pull up one of these these Clemson games that I'm talking about, like, like they're just losing to teams that I don't think they should be losing to. These are really good early season results. Like, these two made Clemson look really good, and they stayed ranked for so long this season, I feel like, because people were hanging on to these wins, like at Alabama, at BYU was nuts. But then, like, as the season went down, there was not a lot there, in my opinion. And Iowa doesn't have much either, but Iowa played like everybody close, as you can see from all these games outside of Michigan State. It's like a 4-point game, 6-point game, 7-point game, 5-point game they won, 3-point game, a 9-point game. Like, they just play everybody tough, and I feel like that is going to be what gets them over Clemson here. It's really more of a, I don't have faith in Clemson than I do have faith in Iowa. Sort of option here, 100%. This game right here, Vanderbilt, I actually live like 20 minutes from Vanderbilt's campus. Even though I know I'm a Wisconsin fan, I'm from Wisconsin, but I moved here later in life. I have watched NC State a couple times this year, and I think they are surprisingly not as good as they have been in years past. They barely made the tournament this year. They were the 3 seed and 4 seed in their conference, and made it through the tournament because of an upset to the 1 seed by someone else did. And Vanderbilt has looked really, really good in the SEC tournament at the end of the season. I've got Vanderbilt here, and I don't think this game will be relatively close. I think the thing that McNeese does really well is they press you and they press your cards. And the thing that Vanderbilt does really, really well is have better cards and take care of the ball. So we'll not see 40 turnovers, we'll not see 40 points off turnovers or anything like outrageous to swing this game. I think Vanderbilt wins. This matchup is really, really interesting because the main thing that Nebraska struggles with is rebounding. And the main thing that Troy's good at is rebounding and being bigger than you. So I think stylistically this is an awful matchup for Nebraska. I do think they will get through here, but I definitely could see a world where Troy pulls the upset and it's some grindy 68 to 64 game. And it just comes down to the offensive rebounds and the second chance buckets, and it would mainly be because Nebraska's not shooting well, which they shot pretty badly in the Big Ten tournament. So this is not impossible by any means. But yeah, I'm gonna take Nebraska here, but just know I really like Troy. What's the point spread here, by the way? 13 and a half. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think if Nebraska shoots well, they're gonna go crazy. But if they don't, then it's gonna be really, really hard because they're not gonna get second chance opportunities against Troy. You're gonna have to make your shots to begin with. So I like Troy's chances, but we're gonna go Nebraska. VCU, the injury is just far too much for North Carolina. Caleb Wilson not being able to play is the main. I mean, VCU is good anyway. That's a tough matchup anyway. But yeah, I got VCU here. I think they're really, really good for an 11 seed. They could have gotten an 8 or a 9 in my opinion. And North Carolina is just struggling down the stretch. I got Illinois here. Illinois is incredibly good. Penn does have one of those white boys that can magically put up 40 and you lose, but Illinois has 2 or 3 of those on their team. So I think Illinois is, as long as Illinois is not playing against Wisconsin, I think they're a top 4 team in the country. They just cannot beat us for some reason. But they're incredibly good, very, very strong. Here, I don't think Texas A&M has beaten a single good team all season. Let me look at the TAMU. Yeah, not a good team. Don't tell me it's a good team. Not a good team. I mean, they made the tournament, I guess, so they're okay. But all the rest are losses, and a lot of them aren't close. Arkansas not close. Yeah, I mean, they're just not tested, and St. Mary's isn't the most tested, but I'm pretty sure St. Mary's had a good. Oh yeah, they played. I guess they got bodied there, but they did beat Gonzaga, and another tournament team here. But I just think that St. Mary's is. I don't know. We'll find out. I think they're better than Texas A&M. These guys don't seem very good. I've got Houston over Idaho. I don't really have to. I think Houston could have been a 1 seed. The 23.5 point spread kind of speaks for itself. Yeah, I mean, Christian Gonzalez. How do you have 18 points per game and 0 assists past the damn ball, buddy? That's actually crazy. His team must be absolute buns if he's not getting a single assist. But did Idaho play anybody this season of note? No, sir, they did not. Let's move on. Obviously, Arkansas. Here, Arizona. Here, I think that Utah State is the substantially better team, in my opinion, when you watch the two. Villanova looked pretty good earlier on in the season, but they have fallen apart at the end of the year. They beat Wisconsin pretty early. Yeah, here it is. They beat Wisconsin pretty early on in the season. They got killed by Michigan, but they weren't able to do much in conference play. They lost a lot of momentum, and even though they have some good senior leadership, I think Utah State's just a better team. Wisconsin will have the 3 best players in this game, and High Point has played against literally nobody all season. Let's look at High Point's They played Furman, who's in the tournament, I guess, and that's it, right? Yeah. Furman that's in the tournament as a 15 seed, and they played them like the first week of the season. Wisconsin's played and beaten. I mean, at Illinois. I don't need to defend this big. I feel like I do, but I don't need to defend that big. Here, this is interesting. I think Hawaii is actually really good, but unfortunately, they are playing against Darius Akov, who is maybe the best player in the tournament. Maybe. We'll see. And Arkansas is just battle tested. I mean, you see they have a really tough schedule as well. Have a lot of good wins. They got killed by Florida. But, yeah. I mean, they're a good team. They're a really good team. And that'll be a great matchup in round 2. Here, I think Texas will beat NC State by a good bit. They got some dogs on that Texas team. But the short turnaround, I'm not sure if they can get it done against BYU. Don't get me wrong. I would love for that to happen. After the garbage that we've had to endure as Wisconsin fans against BYU, the officiating in the NCAA tournament game against us last year, and having to play you in Utah, and then we had a neutral site game this year, also in Utah versus BYU. It's just, I want them to lose, but I feel like realistically they win here against Texas. I know they're without the white boy with the headband. The guy that's pretty good. I forget his name. I hate that guy. But they're without him. So, but I still think Taibasa gets it done versus Texas. He's the best player in this game, and I think that he's a game changer. They can win. Also BYU, great rebounding. Texas, not the best rebounding, so I think it's a tough matchup. Gonzaga there, I don't have to talk about that one too much. Here we have Miami against Missouri. I think Miami is insanely good, and they win with defense. And if you can win with defense, that is a huge benefit to you in the tournament, because defense, even if your shots not go in, defense is like how you win, and that's why I've got faith in a lot of these other teams that I've mentioned before in the side over here, is that there's a lot of defense that travels. Like Illinois' defense will travel, like Houston's defense will travel no matter what, like Vanderbilt's defense will travel, Iowa, Wisconsin up here. It's just kind of, I like defensive teams. I like teams that can score a lot of points, but when you're picking between two teams, the more consistent option is defense. So I'm taking Miami, and then here I've watched more Queens than any person should watch this season, and I actually think that they're a little scary. I think that they actually play really good team basketball and are like a real solid team. I don't think they've played too many teams. Well, they played Virginia. They played Auburn actually, which that's tough. That's a tough look. But I truly feel like there's the making of a team here that could get this upset. I think Purdue is it's egregious that Purdue is a 2 seed. I know everyone loves Braden Smith because he's white, and they think that I'm also white. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm not being racist. I'm also white. But people love him because he is the next Steve Nash. It's gonna be awesome, and I feel like he gets so much bias. He gets Purdue so much bias. He was his stats were not very good this season. There was 2 other people that could have been better: Thornton on Ohio State and Boyd on Wisconsin. That should have been first team All Big Ten, but they gave it to Braden Smith because of last year. And this 2 seed is a byproduct of that as well. So I could definitely see Queens winning, but I do not think that they will win this game. I think that actually, 1 second, I'm gonna bait people. I'm gonna take this little I'm gonna take this little quadrant and take a screenshot of it real quick, and that's gonna be the thumbnail. Just know that I know you guys watched the thumbnail already, but or you saw the thumbnail already, but that's what the thumbnail's gonna be. I don't hate Purdue. I actually like Purdue a lot, but I think there's a chance for an upset here, and I think that the 2 seed is just insane. They were 7th in the Big Ten. How are you a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament? I don't know. Okay, so we have Michigan, obviously here. We'll not see another UMBC again. And then here, I originally was on St. Louis because I think Avila and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will be the best player in this game. However, I think that Georgia is the much better team, like much, much better team. And especially down the stretch, like St. Louis has looked terrible. Terrible. So I'm going to go Georgia here. Here, I think that the injury to Texas Tech and how good Akron's, what's this guy's name? I'm sorry. Yeah, Tafari Johnson is a bucket. Absolute bucket. I mean, obviously, the injury here is what's like what you're really looking at. But I think Tafari Johnson is a bucket, and the fact that a 12-5 is a 7-point spread is enough in itself. And Texas Tech was a 1 seed earlier on in the season, like bracketology, like for a while, a 1 or a 2, and to see them fall to a 5 and absolutely nobody have an argument about it, it's just a testament to where this team's at. And so I like Akron here. I think this matchup is actually a little scary too. I think that Cruz Davis is really, really good, and their second option is also good. They've not played too many good teams this year, but they have not lost to like any of those good teams by a lot. Like UCF, that's a good team in the tournament. They lost by 4 at them. They obviously beat Syracuse, beat Pittsburgh. They're both not in the tournament, but that's still like for this team good wins on the road, you know. Unfortunately, my UNC Seahawks didn't get in the tournament. I love UNC Wilmington; they're good every year. I just remember growing up, they had this like 7'8" like Asian man, and he like couldn't move, but he could dunk from like the free throw line. It was awesome. But yeah, so I think there's real movement here for Hofstra to win this game. I don't think Alabama's that good. But for the benefit of the doubt, no, you know what? I'm gonna go Hofstra. One of these will be right. I guarantee one of these will be right. So I'm gonna take the 50-50. I guarantee one of these will be right. Here, we all know Miami of Ohio, undefeated season, but they played like the school of the blind, so it doesn't really matter. I think SMU wins this play-in game, and I think Tennessee beats the brakes off either of them. I think Kentucky is incredibly good. Oh my god, I think that Virginia is incredibly good. I think this game will not be close. Here, I think that Santa Clara was kind of gifted itself into the tournament. If you look at their resume, they do not have the wins. I mean, look at this. They lost to Gonzaga all 3 times, but they beat St. Mary's 2 out of the 3, and that's their way in. I've already said out I don't like these guys very much, so I'm gonna go Kentucky. I don't know if that game will be close either. And then Iowa State will round it out there. So for the second round, I think that this game is really interesting. I think the reason that Duke and Ohio State is so interesting is that Ohio State has shown with their game against Michigan and their game against other teams over the season that they've gotten upsets on, their best can beat anybody, and they're going to have much more experience on this team than Duke will. Duke has a bunch of freshmen. Ohio State has a bunch of seniors. But I think that Duke's overall talent and consistency with how they win with defense and rebounding, and like they just have shot makers from everywhere. So I've got Duke in this one. But this will be a great game. It's an incredible second round game, honestly. Either way, even if TCU wins this round 1, it's a very hard game for Duke in the second round. Here, I like Pitino. I like Pitino against Kansas, and I also like Pitino versus Cal Baptist if they get here. I think that, just a giant coaching gap, and even though the best player in this game could still be on Cal Baptist, I think he's that good. Like, I mean, look at this man. He's a absolute baller. I think that St. John's is just too big. I think it's just a big problem for Cal Baptist because their best player is a tiny guard. I mean, he's not tiny, but like a smaller guard. I think that'd be real tough. It's doable, but I think it'd be real tough. Here, I was talking about how this Michigan State team is not as good as the ones in the past. However, they are substantially better than either of those 2 teams. And Tom Izzo gets to the second weekend. That's just what he does. So we're going to take Michigan State. Here is really interesting because, again, this UCLA injury makes this so hard. I think UConn, but I think if UCLA has their full team and they're healthy and they keep this momentum, by winning round one. I think this is a really, really hard game for UConn. I think UCLA wins. But I'm going to take UConn because I believe that this team is just very healthy and very strong, and UCLA is not. I think, yeah, the overall consistency. I value consistency in a tournament like this, obviously. Florida, Iowa, I don't think is competitive. I don't think either of those two teams versus Florida is a competitive game. Here, I think the guard play from Vanderbilt is just better than Nebraska. I think this is a very interesting game. I think Nebraska could definitely win. They have a Magic Johnson style point guard, like primary ball handler, who's like 6'8" or something crazy like that, and he's really good. But their form that they showed in the Big Ten tournament, it cannot continue. Like, they did not look good at all. They looked pretty terrible, and so Vanderbilt is on the way up. Nebraska's on the way down. So I'm going to go Vanderbilt here. Illinois, again, I think they're going to have the three best players on the court in this game. They don't have any real weaknesses that are not named Nick Boyd. So I think Illinois is going to be able to get this. St. Mary's Houston, I do not think will be very competitive. Over here, Arizona versus Utah State. I think Utah State is definitely good enough to win this game. Definitely good enough to win this game, but they won't. But they could definitely challenge this. I think Arizona is arguably the best team in the country, and they do it as a team and not as like one singular unit, and that's what makes them so scary. Which is the same thing down here. Now, again, I already told you guys, Wisconsin bias. However, Cuff is maybe the best player in this game, right? Darius A. Cuff. However, look at this backcourt, brother. Look at the Nick Boyd, John Blackwell backcourt. This is just crazy. And if I genuinely feel like the coaching matchup goes to Wisconsin here as well. I think Wisconsin is just much more. See, another thing that Arkansas doesn't have is experience. A lot of their guys are younger, like Acuff is a freshman. And I know that sometimes breeds success because you don't know what you should be nervous about or scared of. But Wisconsin's Nick Boyd is a senior, and Blackwell is a junior that's going to go to the NBA. And then Winter is a senior, and then Rhodey is a senior. Like, they have so much like tournament experience, and I think Nick Boyd and John Blackwell will be just far too much for Arkansas to handle. So I've got Wisconsin winning that one. Here, I think the injury finally catches up to them. I think Gonzaga is finally going to get there. Let's see Gonzaga's. Still, they won. This is tough. They lost here, but this is senior night for St. Mary's. Their loss here, like, that's all that was. Like, St. Mary's is a good team. It was senior night. Their other loss is at Michigan. That's by 40, but like it's like at Michigan. Like, you can't. I think Michigan only lost 2 games all season, and it was neutral site against Duke and then to Wisconsin. So yeah, I got Gonzaga here. This matchup, I think, is really, really good, and I personally think that Miami is going to beat Purdue. I think Miami's defense is just a little bit, although the only thing is Miami also has an injury, and if Miami's player is injured, then and he's not able to play, which I've heard all signs, the only reason this is different than the others is I've heard all signs are that he will be playing. So if he does, I got Miami for sure. If he plays, I got Miami for sure. And if he's healthy, I got Miami for sure. But if he doesn't, then definitely Purdue. Like, he's like that big of a swing here. But I'm gonna go with Miami. We'll go down here. I've got Michigan over Georgia. I think that Michigan is. They've shown all season only 2 losses. They're just definitely the better team here. And Georgia is just. They're tested, but they don't have a lot of really good wins. So Akron and Hofstra, this is hard. I think Hofstra is the better, like, all-around team than Akron. But Akron's gonna have the best player on the court, and so therefore I'm picking Akron. Tennessee versus Virginia. I think that Virginia is incredibly good. They've shown that with their the game in the Big East tournament. This one right here, that was an incredible game. They played them so tough. And Miami again, who I think is incredible. They have a win there too. And this game right here, this one was pre-Caleb Williams injury. I think, or not Caleb Williams, Caleb, whatever his name is, the guy that got injured for North Carolina. So I think the North Carolina would have been like a 2 seed or a 1, probably a 2 or a 3, if he didn't get injured. So yeah, it is what it is. But I value that result as well. But I definitely am Virginia here. Kentucky, Iowa State. I think that this is definitely a spot where Iowa State could lose. They're just not that healthy. But I think that they are still healthy enough to beat a team like Kentucky. I think they will still win against Kentucky. And so now we are into the Elite 8. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm stupid. The Sweet 16. Duke versus St. John's. I think this is a great game. I think both teams want to do the same thing. I think that Duke does it better, but St. John's has more experience. I am going to go with the more man, this is so hard. You know what? I'm going to go with the more experience here. I'm going to go with Rick Pitino and the experience. This is like, I've got Duke winning it in my hunch bracket, but I do think that this is a potential roadblock for Duke, and I just don't like these Duke teams that are all freshmen. They're always so great in the regular season, and then they've got some shortcoming, and I think that Rick Pitino St. John's could be a major roadblock here. So I'm gonna go them here. I've got UConn. As I've said before, I don't think Michigan State is as good as the 3 seed says. I think UConn is 100% and could have been a 1. Big fan of the UConn Huskies this year. They've battled back from adversity, and I think that they're definitely a really, really good team. And I think that Michigan State is just not as good as they've been in the past. They just don't have the talent that they've had in the past. They still play hard, but yeah, like I want to say skill position players, like I'm talking about football, but like the primary scorers are just not as much of ballers as they've been in the past. Like, yeah, I mean, Jeremy Fears is their best player, and who knows, he's going to kick somebody and then get ejected in the first 5 minutes. So I've got UConn. Here, Florida Vanderbilt. We just saw Vanderbilt belt to ass the Florida Gators just a week ago. Less than a week ago. 4 days ago. 3 days ago. We saw them belt to ass the Florida Gators. And I think that the inconsistencies of Florida here leave them really vulnerable to whichever team wins this one. But I do think they will have enough here to make it to the next round. I do think they will have enough. I think this is a very tricky game, though. I think the revenge factor for Florida after losing that game in the SEC tournament could also play in here. But yeah, and down here, I think this is like maybe my most anticipated game of the entire tournament. I think it's pretty much, you never want to say a lock of a Sweet 16 game, but I think it's as close to a lock of a Sweet 16 game as you could say. Yeah, I just love this one. So I will personally take Illinois here. I think that they have the 3 best players in the tournament. There's a little bit of injury. I mean, not in the tournament. I'm sorry. In this game, and Houston has some injury issues as well. And they just don't have the ability to score like Illinois does. Illinois can play a game where it's a defensive 60 to 63 game, and that's what Houston wants to do. But also Illinois can score with the best of them. They can put up 90 to 100. They're kind of all over the place. But when you look at Houston, all their games kind of stay lower, and they've lost a lot of these games where they're in the middle. I mean, losing to Kansas is just, that cannot happen. But yeah, I mean, obviously no one's faulting you for that. That's a great result. But if you look at Illinois, 81, 88, 85, they can definitely get up there. Yeah, didn't show any of the Wisconsin results here, did you, buddy? But but I think Illinois gets that there. I think it's a great game. I think Illinois gets it. The Arizona Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin will have the best player in this game, arguably best two. Like, I'm not even joking. Arguably best two players in the game. However, it's like Wisconsin has like a 9.5 out of 10 with Nick Boyd, and a 9.5 out of 10 with like John Blackwell. But then you have like a 7.5 out of 10 with Nolan Winter, and then a bunch of sixes, right? Like Braden Carrington can be an 8 when he's really on, and Rhodey, if he shoots like he did against Michigan, is like an 8 as well. But the problem with Arizona is Arizona's got 7 9s, and that's just way too much to deal with. So I've got Arizona here. I do think Wisconsin will 100% have a puncher's chance, because I mean, Nick Boyd already showed he can drop 40 and beat Illinois. He can do the same thing here, and I mean, John Blackwell's always going to get his 20 at least. So yeah, I got Arizona here though. I obviously we got a chance, but I think Arizona's just overall like just incredible. And here, I think this might finally be Gonzaga's time. They're just so big down low, and they're so deep, and they've just played against so many good teams all season, and not really like outside of the Michigan game, like should have been all of them. I got Gonzaga here. I think it's a great game. Miami could definitely win. Like, they're very good, but I got Gonzaga there. Then down here, I got Michigan over Akron. The one-man army stops here. And I got Virginia over Iowa State because of the injury issues. Like, I've already talked about the injury stuff with Iowa State. They ended the Big Ten tournament, or the Big 12 tournament. I mean, they ended the season overall. Look at this chunk of games. Like, obviously that's not in a row, but it's like pretty close to in a row. Just not doing that great. So I got Virginia making it through to that one. I think Virginia is super consistent and super good. Now to the Elite Eight. This is a great Big East matchup again. We can go look here, and we can see that the times they played, none of them were close. A blowout either way, depending on who was home. I don't know. Well, this is in the Big East tournament, right? Yeah, that was in the Big East tournament. That wasn't close. Wait, we did St. John's. What am I looking at? I'm looking at UConn. Wait, St. John's lost to UConn. Wait, St. John's beat UConn in the Big East championship game. Enough said. I digress. We go here. Illinois. I'm sticking with this Illinois. The odds of a team to go back-to-back in the NCAA tournament are insanely low, and Florida's much weaker than they were last year. That team last year was incredible. I don't think Florida makes it to the Final Four again. I think Illinois, overall, a much stronger team. Really like the Illini. Up here, Arizona Gonzaga. If any team's going to beat Arizona, it's going to be Gonzaga, I think. But, again, so many good players. And look at this Arizona team insight, man. Florida, dunked on. UConn, dunked on. BYU, dunked on. Iowa State twice. Houston twice. Like, brother, what are we even talking about? Arizona makes it to the Final Four. Here, we have Michigan, Virginia, and I think this is fantastic. I think if Michigan is full strength and don't have whatever his name is injured, they're a Final Four team as well. However, I think Virginia is going to make it. I think that Virginia has a little bit too much, oh man, I'm saying this incorrectly. Their bench is too good. I think that Michigan's depth is not the same. I think that Virginia's bench is just way too, like, impactful on the game. And so here we are in the Final Four with St. John's, Illinois, and Arizona, Virginia. I think this would be a fantastic Final Four, even with me as a Wisconsin fan. I would love to watch this. We get a team from 4 different conferences, which is awesome. I think St. John's, Illinois, I probably got. Oh, this is tough. weakest guys there. I got St. John's. I got the Johnnies. I think if they're gonna get through Duke and UConn, they're gonna get through Illinois. They're gonna find a way. They're gonna like. You've got so much self belief at that point that there's no way. Yeah, there's no way if they get through Duke and they get. There's just no way. And then over here, I got Arizona, and then I've already. So the issue here is I would pick Arizona once more because I think they're the best team in the tournament, which is unfortunate for them to be over here with Wisconsin. I think they're the best team in the tournament, but I've already taken Arizona, so I'm taking the Johnnies, Rick Pitino and the Johnnies. Oh man, if they lose to Northern Iowa, I'm gonna look like an idiot. But I'm gonna take the Johnnies to cut down the nets and win the national championship. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be going over my picks after the tournament is over, and reassessing the tournament as a whole and talking about it. And then yeah, I'm not really sure. I want to start doing this stuff during football season as well. Maybe some baseball, depending on. I don't even know what I do for baseball because you're not just gonna do pick'ems for baseball. That'd be crazy. I might do UFC pick'ems. That'd be fun. I see people do that sometimes, and I watch so much UFC every week. So yeah, maybe UFC. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any, or soccer, I could do Champions League as well. Yeah, my team is Chelsea. Up the Chelsea. Hopefully we bring it back against PSG tomorrow. That's a giant hill to climb. So, but yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I will be back soon with Pokemon Champions and maybe some other content. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a good rest. See ya.
I don't know how I'd send it to you because it's so big. Great question. Don't know. Probably. Have to look at it after I export this stuff really quick. I will